She was humiliated in front of the entire office, but by the end of the week the man who fired her would be begging for a second chance. Keisha James walked into the downtown Chicago office with hope in her heart and a folder full of dreams. It was her first day at Grant & Pierce Consulting, her first real shot after working double shifts at a diner just to finish her degree. She wore her best blazer, pressed and spotless, and her natural curls pinned back neatly. She was nervous, but proud. The receptionist barely glanced at her. "You lost?" "No," Keisha said with a soft smile. "Today's my first day, marketing team." A long pause, then a forced smile. "Right, go on up." The elevator felt colder than it should have. She stepped out, walked into a sea of glass walls and polished desks. Everyone turned. They didn't smile. At exactly 9:12 a.m., the door to the corner office slammed open. A tall white man in a tailored navy suit stormed out. "Who the hell approved this?" he barked, pointing at Keisha. She froze. "I don't remember hiring anyone with that resume," he said. "Whose idea was this diversity stunt?" The office went silent. Keisha's throat went dry. "Sir," she said quietly, "HR—" "I don't care what HR said. This is my department. You're not a fit here." She stood still. "You haven't even seen me work." He looked her over once, slow, dismissive. "That's enough," he said. "Get out of my office." Keisha turned without a word, eyes burning. The receptionist avoided eye contact as she stepped back onto the elevator. But what no one in that building knew was that Keisha wasn't just a hire. She was connected to someone whose name could change everything. And she wasn't done. Not even close. Keisha didn't cry until she reached the sidewalk. Not because of what he said, but because she'd let her hopes get too high. She had worked hard for that job, earned it fair and square, and he'd fired her in front of everyone, like she didn't even matter. She pulled out her phone and made one call. "Uncle Ray," she said, voice shaking. "I need you to see something." Back at Grant & Pierce, the day went on as usual. Emails, meetings, espresso runs. Nobody talked about what happened. Nobody questioned the man in the navy suit, Gregory Pierce, co-founder and CEO. He ran things with a sharp tongue and a colder heart. And people feared him more than they respected him. That afternoon, a black SUV pulled up in front of the building. A man stepped out wearing a gray suit, dark sunglasses, and a watch worth more than most of the staff's yearly salary. He walked straight to the receptionist. "I'm here for Gregory Pierce." "I'm sorry. Do you have an appointment?" He flashed a card. Raymond James, partner, Whitestone Holdings. The receptionist's smile froze. Raymond walked into the office like he owned it. People looked up from their desks, whispering. Gregory appeared in seconds, confused. "Can I help you?" he asked, stiff. Raymond didn't shake his hand. "You fired my niece this morning. Keisha James." Gregory blinked. Excuse me?" "You heard me," Raymond said calmly. "She showed up for work, earned that job on her own, and you humiliated her in front of your staff." Gregory's face turned pale. "I wasn't aware she was related to you." "And that's the problem," Raymond said. "You judge people before you even know their worth." Gregory cleared his throat, scrambling. "This was a misunderstanding. Raymond cut him off. This was discrimination. And now it's going to cost you." Back on the street, Keisha sat in a quiet cafe, hands around a cup of tea. Her phone buzzed. One new message. "Meeting went well. Get ready. They want you back, this time in a position you actually deserve." Keisha stared at the screen, then smiled slowly. For the first time that day, she felt taller, stronger. This wasn't over. It was just getting started. The next morning, Gregory stood in front of the entire staff. His usual arrogance was gone. replaced by a stiff, uneasy smile. "As of today," he announced, "we're excited to welcome back Ms. Keisha James. She'll be joining our strategy division, in a leadership role." Whispers swept across the floor. No one dared ask questions, but eyes followed Keisha as she walked back into the office. This time she wore no blazer, just confidence, grace, and a quiet fire in her eyes. She didn't look at Gregory. Didn't need to. Her new office was right down the hall from his. At lunch, one of the junior analysts approached her. A white girl with nervous energy. "I just wanted to say, I saw what happened that day. I'm sorry, it wasn't right." Keisha nodded gently. "Thank you. You're brave for coming back." Keisha smiled. I'm just not done yet." That week, she led her first pitch meeting, nailing a campaign that brought in a new $1 million client. By Friday, 2 other employees quietly reached out, sharing stories of subtle discrimination they'd faced at the company, too. It wasn't just her, and now she had a seat at the table. But it didn't stop there. A story leaked online. CEO under fire after firing Black woman on first day, reinstated after billionaire's warning. The headline spread, and so did the backlash. Investors started asking questions. Gregory's phone stopped ringing, his calendar cleared, and one morning, an official notice landed on his desk. "Due to internal restructuring and performance concerns, your position as CEO will be evaluated by the board effective immediately." He stared at it, stunned. For the first time in years, he felt powerless. Down the hall, Keisha stood in her office, looking out the window with quiet strength. She didn't want revenge. She wanted change. And she was just getting started. 2 weeks later, Gregory Pierce was gone. Removed quietly by the board under reputational risk. The same man who once shouted Keisha out of the office now walked out the front doors without a title, without applause, only silence. In his place, the firm announced a new leadership team. At the top of that list, Keisha James, Director of Strategic Growth. It wasn't just a promotion, it was a message. She stood in the same conference room where she had once been humiliated, now leading policy changes on hiring, diversity training, and internal reporting channels. People began to speak up. Others who had been overlooked, ignored, or dismissed saw something different in her. Not just a woman with power, but a woman who used it with purpose. Late one evening, after everyone had left, Raymond stopped by her office. "You sure you're okay staying here?" he asked. Keisha nodded. "This place won't change unless someone stays and makes sure it does." He gave a proud smile. "You always were the strong one." As he left, she sat quietly, flipping through her notebook. On the first page, written months ago, were the words, "Earn your place. Then protect it for others." She hadn't expected her first day to go the way it had. She hadn't expected the world to notice, but she was exactly where she needed to be. For every woman who had been dismissed, for every Black voice that had been silenced, for every person who just wanted a fair chance. Keisha had turned her pain into power, and now she was opening the door for others to walk through it too. If you believe respect should never depend on skin color, position, or privilege, share Keisha's story. Let's stand for fairness. Let's stand for each other.